Hi everyone, I hope you've enjoyed these documentaries we have been uploading recently. I've enjoyed them myself and there is many more to come in the future. And I hope you're all finding them interesting as well. And I thought it would give our channel something extra to have these instructive documentaries on. But anyway, I thought I would get back to the Brilliancy series, and game 3 is Ljubojevic, who was a strong grandmaster and very attacking, against Andersoon, who was a very strong, solid player and also a strong grandmaster. And this was played in the 1976 Wiltjan Z tournament. Ljubojevic was white and opened with e4, and Andersoon replied with the Sicillian, and he played the Taimanov, which eventually transposes back into a Scheveningen. And now white starts to get aggressive with f4, threatening e5, so d6, and now queen e1, preparing to bring the queen to a more active post on the king side. Castles. I'm skipping through the opening because I've only got 15 minutes and this game is very complex. Queen g3, maybe planning f5 and bishop h6, bishop d7, and now white lashes out with e5, which is premature and is given a question mark, exclamation mark. And the book says that white set up for an attacking failure because he hasn't prepared it enough, like the king's on an open diagonal and the rook's like in the game. So a better move would have been something like king h1 or rook ad1, because as we're going to see, king h1 will be important because a lot of black's saving moves involve a queen coming to a7 with a pin on the knight on d4. But he plays e4, after takes. Black has to take with a knight, because if he takes with a queen, then white has knight takes c6, removing the defender of the queen, and if queen takes g3, then an in-between move, knight takes e7 check, and then taking the queen and white's two pieces up and winning. So the knight has to take, bishop f4. This is the idea, white is getting some strong pressure for the pawn, but with accurate defense black can get an advantage. Bishop d6 the only move, rook ad1, threatening knight b3, and rook takes d6 followed by bishop takes e5, winning two pieces for a rook. And there, if black tries tactics such as knight f3 check, rook takes f3 and e5, forking two pieces, this is hammered by bishop h6, threatening mate, knight h5, queen g5, and after e takes d4, knight d5, queen moves, now knight f6 check, and black loses his d7 bishop. However, Andersoon plays queen b8, a very strong defensive move, and also we're going to see the defaults of not preparing e5 with a move like king h1, because the queen is going to pin the knight with queen a7 soon. Now white plays a very creative move with rook d3, where the idea is that the knight's pinned so it can't take, and white wants to play rook e3, and as the book says, she's kebab black along the diagonal. So he plays knight e8, reinforcing the d6 bishop, knight e4, and now if white tries to black tries to grab the rook with knight takes d3, then would come bishop takes d6, queen e7, which looks good pinning the knight, but white can play c3, and if knight takes d6, then despite black beating up a rook, this runs into check, and takes, threatening to take on h7, so takes, and now queen h4, f5, check, and now the rook lift is decisive, and rook g3 mate can't be prevented, so white would win. So he plays bishop c7, getting the bishop onto a square where it can be protected more times. Rook c3, and now knight c6, blocking off the c line, and now white plays bishop takes c7, and black has to play knight takes d4 in this position. If queen takes c7, then check, king h8, and after queens come off, knight takes d7, knight takes d4, takes, knight takes c2 check, white has king f2, attacking the knight, and also black's rook is on pre, so black either has to lose an exchange or a knight, and white would therefore be winning. However, black has this tactical shot knight takes d4, where if bishop takes b8, then knight takes e2 check forks king and queen. So after the exchanges, black is a pawn up in an endgame and therefore has all the winning chances. So white has to play bishop d3, which puts the bishop on a very strong diagonal at least. And now we're going to see the main default of not playing king h1, because black has the move queen a7, which is with tempo because knight e2 and knight f5 check have threatened winning the white queen. That's why in a lot of open Sicilians, white plays king f1 before f4 to avoid stuff like this. White plays knight c5, blocking the queen out. And now black plays an accuracy after this really good defense with bishop b5, which gives white the chance to attack again. Better was knight takes c7. If queen takes c7, bishop b5, and black is better. However, white can actually force a draw in this position with the incredible bishop takes x7, king takes, and now queen takes g7 check. Where after king takes, rook g3 check, the rook just gives perpetual along the g and h lines. However, this would still be good for black because obviously a draw with black pieces is always better than a draw with white pieces, and also white's forced to do this as well. Like if he plays on, then black gets the advantage. However, bishop b5 leads to some fireworks because after bishop e5, now white has two raking bishops pointing at black's king. Knight c6. If bishop takes d3, then bishop takes d4, bishop takes f1, knight takes e6. If b6, then black is killed by knight takes g7, so black can give up the queen, and although black has enough pieces here, white has the move queen b8, and black's a7 rook cannot be extracted, so therefore white will be winning. However, knight c6, another strong move, and here white lashed out with bishop takes h7 check, but there was nothing really any better because otherwise pieces are coming off and then black will just be a pawn up. But this sacrifice does give very good practical chances, and white can actually force a draw. After king takes h7, white can force a draw in like the same way as the line we showed earlier with bishop takes g7, knight takes, queen takes, king takes, and now a draw by perpetual along the g and h lines. However, white goes all out for the win with rook f4, planning rook h4 check and queen h3, and now black has to defend. Now here in Serwan's book, he says that f5 is refuted by a line, but I actually found a way to refute the refutation. So let's see it then. f5, check, king g8 and queen g6, threatening rook h3 and rook h8 mate. So knight takes e5, check. Knight f7 loses to this. So rook f7, queen takes e5, rook d8, rook ch3, and now black goes on a really good counter attack with check, 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 check. And now it says in the book that this that white's king survives whereas black perishes this because it looks like black's got nothing left. However, I found the incredible shot, rook e7, double exclamation mark. The point being that black is now counter-attack, is starting to get strong again, and if the rook is taken, this runs into the incredible queen takes c5 check, where queen takes c5, knight e4 check, and after king g6, which sets a trap where knight takes c5 runs into rook h8 mate, black has bishop e8 check, forcing the king away, so rook h8 is a mate, and then he can take the queen. And black has two pieces for a rook and pawn and has good chances in this endgame. So that's a line in the book refuted. f6, so f5 is fine as well, but f6 is probably still better because there's some very hard moves have to be found there. Check, and now queen h3, knight d8, reinforcing the e6 point. Bishop d4, getting the bishop away and threatening like stuff like knight takes e6. So b6, which also exposes the queen's defense of the king. And now white takes the pawn, queen takes, and if rook f7 here, then rook ch3 leads to an unstoppable mate. So black has to counter attack the queen with queen f7, and now queen e4. It looks like white's winning here because there is a dual threat of queen h7 mate, and queen takes h8, and in this position time pressure reared its ugly head and Andersoon blundered with g5, which loses very quickly, looking logical because white's rook can be taken if black's is taken, but now the pawn shield has been weakened, white's attack becomes unstoppable and the game won't last a couple more moves. What black should have played was the counter attack with queen takes a2, and white is forced to actually take a draw by perpetual with these checks. If queen takes a8, then g5 is now playable. White needs to be denied queen d5 check, and also this helps create a mating net, these preparatory moves. After queen f3, check, check, king e3 runs into rook e8 check, so king g3, check, now king f7, and white's king is in dire straits on the h line. This is a decisive advantage to black, and white's going to be forced to go up a lot of material to avoid mate, like bishop takes f6 for example, and black's winning this, so white would have had to take a draw then. However, in extreme time pressure he plays g5, and now there is two wins here. One is rook g3 could have been played, pinning the pawn. After rook d8 takes a mate, so black would have had to lose a rook. And rook h6 was the game continuation, and after black moved his rook, black is threatening rook e7 with strong counterplay in the centre, but rook ch3 can be played. The only way to stop mate is with queen g7, and now rook g6, winning the queen. However, because white sacked a piece, it would still be quite unclear, so after rook f7, white plays one move which forces resignation, which is c4. The idea is to divert the bishop off the knight, and also the queen's going, and all black's pieces are like dropping off. So black resigns here, and this was a spectacular attacking game with full sacrifices, and it is certainly a brilliant set and deserves its place in the video collection. I hope you all enjoyed it as well, and please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.